I think the bald heads from Shaolin are behind this. They're scared of nobody.
I inhaled.
Hello?
What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome to Civil Intercourse with Tony P.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy.
Are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think it's great.
I hope you are in good health and that your spirit is well.
Your appeal to my humanity is pointless.
Come on, man.
We can meet our destiny to build a land here that will be for all mankind a shining city on a hill.
So if we all believe in individual liberty, and we all believe in these rules of democracy, what is our modern argument about?
That's always a great question. But today, we won't be having any arguments, just a discussion. One-sided. Hopefully you'll give me some feedback. Hit us up at anchor.fm/AB from CA. Love to hear from you. And you can also go to civilcast.net and send us a message. I don't check those a whole lot, but if I start getting more messages, I will. I appreciate those of you who have been checking in and reminding me that I haven't dropped a podcast in a while. I think February was the last one that I popped out. I have been doing the X Spaces. Tuesday nights we're doing the Counterpoint show with True J Mitchell. Check the feed. Usually do a tweet on it. Hit us up for notifications. I don't spam a lot of stuff, so there have been some people I've hit up on Twitter, and oh my goodness, it cracks me up because I get so many notifications. So I'm trying to figure out how to not have those, wear my battery down, and still stay in the loop with people. But yeah, the top stories of the week. Let's do it. The Chevron Deference case. This is first up. The Supreme Court in a 6-3 decision has overturned the most horrible ruling that they had done a long time ago, where they allowed bureaucracies to basically interpret law and in around the Constitution. I think a couple shows back, the mass recall one, we went over this, and Bree actually had talked about it on one of the spaces that we did on Twitter. And I'll throw the link in that underneath as well, in the tweet underneath, and also into the whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, Apple, Google, whatever, wherever you're getting it, I'll put in the resources link to that for you. But definitely go look into that. Go check out the Chevron Deference. Listen to what it is about, and be excited, because if you don't know what it's about, because changes are going to come. It's going to be more lawsuits. A lot of these really unconstitutional practices that our bureaucracies are engaged in will probably come down. Hopefully, we'll see. They're going to try to fight that and try to enact laws. So we need to be on our toes and paying attention. But yeah, the Chevron Deference has been overturned. Been paying attention to that for a while now, and that is really great news. Another news this week, Donald Trump and Joe Biden had a debate, and Trump won, Biden lost, and I don't know if it moved the needle or not, but we talked about that in the last Counterpoint we did on Thursday while I was actually up in the Redwoods on vacation. So that was kind of interesting to listen to. We're going to probably talk about that again on Tuesday. And I'll leave a link to, just check my feed if you want to check that out. But if you didn't watch the debate, you didn't miss a whole lot. Biden is definitely in decline, but that's not news, so I don't even think I want to throw it in there in the news section. I think a lot of people think that that Trump is a foregone conclusion, and it's a lot of talk about whether they're going to replace Biden or not. I'm still going with Michelle Obama. That's my pick. If there is a replacement, she just has too good of a story to step up, say, I don't want to do it, but I got to do it for my country. And it's just the narrative writes itself. It's just, I can't see it going. But he's saying he's going to be in there, but the latest news is he's stepping in to see his family. So by the time you listen to this, who knows? Biden may have stepped down. He may fight it out. Who knows? it's a circus, right? Trump's definitely the better candidate, but I wouldn't get all caught up in the polls. I didn't listen to polls in 2016. And I didn't listen to polls in 2020. And I'm not listening to polls in 2024. I ain't listening to. I don't trust polls. I've worked for doing polls, and no, you get enough talented people, you get what people want. People want an answer within reason, within good ethics. You could ask questions to get the answers the way that you want, and somehow make yourself feel like you haven't done anything wrong. The last thing I just want to touch on is we're about to be coming up on $35 trillion in national debt. We're 34.84, I believe. And that's insane. I got to talk about it in an upcoming podcast, but from what I understand, and I think I'll have a couple of guests on for this one, from what I understand, our taxes aren't even paying the national debt. That's some weird deal we got going with the Fed. But sadly, speaking of the Fed, the senator who set up the legislation that proposed to getting rid of our agreement with the Fed and getting out from under that, his wife died. So I don't have all the full details on that. If there's a link by the time I post this up, I'll go ahead and try to include that as well. But that's a sad thing, and I got a little side eye on that, to be honest. I think his name is Mike Massie, but I do need to double check that because that it did not have written down, and I just popped into my head. So there you go. But hey, that's a few of the top stories of the week for the week ending in June 30th, 2024. And that brings us to the main part of our show, life, liberty, and narrative news. I hope I said at the beginning, and if I didn't, I hope that this reaches you in good health and in good spirit. I hope that you are planning and having or did have a great 4th of July. I'm recording this coming up. Like I said, it's the 30th of June. It's about 2 in the morning. I'm being perfectly honest with you, my time, but this is when my brain is kicking in. So this is what we're doing. Things that affect our life and our liberty and where narrative news sets in. Our title is Life, Liberty, and Narrative News. And I want to say that I'm going to try to go through this, but I want you guys to really stick with me, okay? I'm going to try to be quick and concise, so I may leave some stuff out. I may generalize some things, but I'm going to try to leave some links, and this is just some food for thought. I really want you guys to think about this. Now, I've been doing this spaces on Tuesdays, called Light, and I threw the name out there to them to do Life, Liberty, and Narrative News. Now, if we have a specific topic, we change the title, but it's just a basic title if we're just having a space. For me, when I threw it out, I wanted to have a segment, Life and Liberty and Narrative News, and this is not what I'm doing right now, but I just wanted to say that because that phrase today, I want to look at it, and I really want to break it down just real quickly about what life is. And life defined in the Black's Law Dictionary is the state of animals and plants or of an organized being in which its natural functions and motions are performed, or in which its organs are capable of performing their functions. Webster, the sum of the forces by which death is resisted. So, when we look at the Constitution and we look at our mentality here of, our ideology, not reality, but what we're supposed to be about. Supposed to be able to, we're looking to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, life in which its natural functions and motions are performed, or which its organs are capable of performing their functions. So to have life, you need your body to function properly. You need your organs to function properly. And I think about the way the government and the things that they've been doing to us to prohibit our life and our organs from functioning. And I want you to really think about this, because I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. But just think about this. When I talk about these things, you'll probably, if you don't know about it, or maybe you don't think these things are true, there you can look us all up, and I'll try to put some sources for everything. But it takes 2 seconds. Even go to Google. Even Google, you can find everything I'm talking about. But to dig into the deeper, more heinous parts of it, you got to really kind of dig. But you can start the journey into looking at it if you don't know about it. But I think most of the people know about it. A few things that the government has done right in front of our face, and we don't bat an eye at it. There are so many, but I'm just going to go over a few. That it's crazy. It's seemingly impossible for the brain to conceive that this is real, but yet we know it's real, and yet we just keep cruising along because we don't really know exactly how to fix the problem. But let's just first talk about the U.S. Department of Agriculture's original food guide pyramid that they released in 92, that they knew was going to cause all sorts of health problems, that they knew was going to run people into a rampant diabetes at young age and child obesity. And they encourage carbohydrates. The pyramid encouraged eating complex carbohydrates, but not all carbohydrates are good for you. Fats and oils. It discourages you from eating fats and oil, but not all fats are bad for you. Not all fats are bad for you. But you know what? Most of them that they said not to eat are good for you. Protein. Pyramid didn't adequately represent protein, and that led to changes in people's diets and negative health outcomes. And crazy health food, I'm putting quotations, health food crazes and fads with experimental foods and all kinds of nonsense that I'm not even going to start naming them all, but you go do the research into it. That's just one thing. It's come out. There's paperwork. You can go look it up, that these fools all knew. They paid the people off. The FDA, they paid. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous that the people in industry and the lobbyists can come in and to make money off of us do that and affect our life, because these things that they've done and putting these fake sugars and putting all this crap and stuff into our bodies that our body doesn't know how to process, and carbon us out, and just the processed food that they allow and say is it's not good. It's ridiculous. Shelf life is not that important. Get back to a more, reasonable food system where we do things in season. But anyway, I'm going to get off that because I said I'd be quick. So just think about that in the contextual discussion of looking at it as life is defined. They're standing in the way of your organs being capable of performing their functions, right? Now, next thing, fluoride and chlorine in your drinking water. Let me say that again. Fluoride and chlorine in your drinking water. Let me say that again. Fluoride and chlorine in your drinking water. You go to your tap right now, get a glass of water, you're drinking fluoride and chlorine. You use a Brita filter and all this nonsense. Unless you're using a reverse osmosis or some super awesome filter, you are not getting rid of the fluoride and the chlorine in your drinking water. So go get your tap water, make your tea, make whatever, give it to your dog. Think of your dogs. Think of your cats that you're giving them that water. Okay? Are we supposed to go to the store? We pay tax dollars for the water, and then we got to pay for the water, and then we get fined on the water if we use too much water that we paid for. And it is what it is. But fluoride and chlorine in the drinking water, you're not batting an eye at it. You're like, dude, this is boring me. What are we doing? You're talking about the food pyramid and fluoride and chlorine. I'm talking about the government standing in the way of your health and doing horrible things to you so that a lot of people can make money and they can weaken you physically, shorten your life, make you dependent upon the healthcare system. Make healthcare super, super, super important. Now, yes, people used to have 30-year lifespans, and there were a lot of other reasons for that. And healthcare has come a long way. I'm not saying that. Love healthcare, but we have to get into a system where, there's, I believe it's Japan. They pay their doctors when they're healthy. They don't pay their doctors when they get sick. Okay, let's think about that. I don't like copying a lot of other people, but it's a good mindset. Fluoride and chlorine in your drinking water. Food pyramid. Look those up. Look at how they became to be. Fluoride is toxic waste. It's toxic waste left over from processing that's done, and they needed a place to get rid of it. And they said, "Oh, your kids will need healthy teeth. It'll make people's teeth healthy." We don't need to be drinking fluoride and chlorine in our drinking water. The other thing, now this is the thing. Some people think this isn't true. There's a government documents. It's been going on for dozens of years, not dozens, like 2 decades at the least. I mean, this is what's in the public. They've been doing weather experiments and blocking the sun, seeding clouds, and God knows what else. And these are with poisonous chemicals in the air. Let me say that again. They're doing weather experiments and blocking the sun. In case you didn't hear me, they are doing weather experiments and blocking the sun. Now, you probably heard this and are like, man, I'm bored. But are you batting an eye at it? Are you angry? Are you tripping? Are you calling your congressman and your senator? Are you calling your local assembly people and asking, hey, are there planes flying over our city? Are you asking your mayor? Are you asking every person out there? Because if you're not, then you're just like most of people. And we're just so gaslit and so trying to maintain a normal life that you can't do everything and you feel like you can't save the world. But you have to also look at that you have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You have the right to have your organs function and to not have a government that's trying to poison you. Putting stuff in the air, putting stuff in your water, allowing terrible foods and terrible things to be approved, allowing certain dyes that cause cancer and all these other ailments to be put in. And they scoff and go, well, it's only a certain percentage of the people. Every American is important. The last thing on this one, when we're talking about life, just gene therapy masquerading as vaccines. Just, I don't know where you at with that, because that's real. It's documented. It's in the public sphere now. Now we know. COVID-19 was a cold virus. A lot of stats were fluffed. Things were not what they seemed. People did die. Some died because they had comorbidity, issues going on. It is what it is, right? Let's not get all weird. Don't let that topic go. But the reality is they had Operation Warp Speed. That was for Novavax and some other vaccines. Pfizer brought in some stuff that they had around for a long, long time. And there's some things with some other companies. Feel free to look all into it. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. But they introduced gene therapy, and they hid data on the effects because they didn't want people not taking it. And it hurt a lot of people. Feel free to look into it or don't. But know and understand, just like the food pyramid, just like the fluorine and chlorine and fluoride in your drinking water, the weather experiments and all that, the gene therapy, the attempt to try this new technology that's been around for a long time, has never been approved for anything else because it has the potential to go wrong, and there are way more competent people in those areas you can go find who can explain it to you if you look that up. And especially now, there's a lot more information out there. But the CDC, as I say this, has just recommended that youngsters, 6 months, I think, are old, get their boosters or get a shot, get their COVID shot. Think about what I just said. Children who are at zero risk for a vaccine that does nothing, does not stop you from getting it, does not stop you from spreading it, possibly, quotations there, air quotes, possibly can lower, how sick you get. Some people felt when they got it and they had taken it that just took them over the edge and, it didn't happen. So, it is what it is. You guys make your own decision on that. But my point is, all these things have been done, and the government doesn't have a right to do that to us. And we have acquiesced our rights, our right to have healthy alternatives, not just alternatives, but tap water that isn't riddled with stuff that's bad for us. To have air that isn't riddled with stuff that's bad for us. It's time to start having real, I know I sound like some crazy environmentalist, but the truth is, I know everybody calls me a conservative and a whatever, but I am an environmentalist. I don't believe you should pollute. I think you should put polluters in jail. I think that we should get back to dealing with reality. I think we should get back to using glass and have a proper recycling thing and stop wrapping meats and everything in plastic and then telling people they can't have a plastic bag. I say get rid of all the plastic bags, get rid of most of the plastics, but that's a serious conversation because you got to look at in our society, the majority of the items that we use are plastic for common conveniences. So that's not just a simple, let's do this. You know what I mean? All right. So liberty. Life, liberty, and narrative news, right? That's what we're talking about. We've got a right to life. We've defined what life is. Let's look at liberty. Liberty defined in the Black's Law is freedom, exemption from extraneous control, the power of the will in its moral freedom to follow the dictates of its unrestricted choice, and to direct the external acts of the individual without restraint, coercion, or control from other persons. See Booth versus Illinois, 1S4 U.S. 425, 22, Supreme Court 425, 46 LED 623, and Munn v. Illinois 94, U.S. 142.24, LED 77, and the People versus Warden of City Prisons 157 New York 11651 NE 1006.43. LRA 264, 68 AM St. Rep 71 I 7I, and I'll try to throw that in. You want to look those up. Stop this, rewind it, write those down. If you want to check out freedom applied and what all that means to you, because it is important to understand what liberty really is. And I would like to say on liberty that liberty is for all. Every last American. Every national American. Every national American. Liberty is for all of you. Liberty to pursue a healthy or unhealthy lifestyle with full knowledge. Look at all that stuff I was talking about earlier. These are out of our control. These people have forced these things into our life. But we have the liberty to pursue a healthy or an unhealthy lifestyle with full knowledge. We're not supposed to be tricked and told, oh, this is safe and this is organic and this is this and this is that. And it doesn't mean that. And it's actually not safe, and it's not organic, and it's not healthy. Why do we have, I didn't even bring up that we have a whole company that modifies our fruits and vegetables and makes them where they don't make seeds so that farmers have to grow their stuff and that they can come and shut them down and like get them in trouble if they grow seeds that God made. I didn't even bring that up in the last one when we were talking about life because we got to, trying to keep this down to 30 minutes if possible. But we have the liberty to pursue a healthy or unhealthy lifestyle with full knowledge. We have the liberty to think and choose. We have liberty from a government that lies to its people. We should have that. Liberty from a government that lies to its people. I'm sure in the Constitution, there's nothing that says they can do that. They're limited. They're not empowered. They're limited in the Constitution. We are empowered. The people are empowered. And I think we should have liberty from a government that seeks to control and manipulate, like Project Mockingbird and all the other things with the media and the ties and the illegal monopolies that the politicians allow. And then those illegal monopolies pay into the politicians and set up all their people, and they become massive millionaires because it's all insider trading and nonsense. We have to have liberty. Which brings me up to narrative news. What is narrative news? What does that mean? It's the same thing as fake news. It's what news has always been. Narrative is defined as a piece of writing that focuses on telling a story. The word narrative is often synonymous with the word story. Narratives also have characters and a setting, as well as a narrator or person from whose point of view the story is told. They can be fiction or nonfiction. News, just whatever you think the news is. But for us, most people think it as information. News is information, facts, okay, opinions. Most of the time, that's what we're getting. But a narrative, everything is a narrative. We have never had an unpartisan media. All media is an argument and propaganda. Even this podcast is propaganda. I'm attempting to influence people to communicate and compare notes so as to understand each other more deeply, as well as understand the depth of the villainous evil we, the voters, have allowed ourselves to be subjected to by acquiescing to our employees. The media is owned by the same corporations that are being used by the government to establish a fascist state. I should say have established a fascist state. As corporatism, not capitalism, is what we practice in America, and the corporate media structure is the tool used to divide, distract, and lull Americans into a sense of gaslit drowsiness that sends most into the programming channels and entertainment avenues to escape it all. Mission accomplished. Government. The solution is communication. Get into common spaces. Discuss. Compare notes, remove career politicians, and begin sending local representatives, people you know. Get to know your neighbors. It has to start local. It has to start local and make its way to the federal. It has to start today. We got to mass recall them all. All career politicians must go. There is no other option. Change. Real change, radical change must happen. Not Marxist ideology used to divide and distract us as fascism grows and grows, but radical change where we, the people, take control by simply performing our civic responsibilities and govern ourselves properly. We are not our own enemies unless we decide to be. We are a civilized society because we decide to be. Take hold of your life. Take hold of your liberty. Value it. Cherish it. Administer it. Let's work together to build a better America. And let's look way past the narrative news. God bless you. Take care.
Well, goodbye.
Oh, yeah, that was fantastic. What a great time. Heaven. It was heaven.
What an eccentric performance.